Welcome back to our channel. Today, in quiet reverence, we remember the talented artists who left us too soon. Some only just days ago. From the icons of Hollywood to rising stars, they each brought light to the world of entertainment until they passed away suddenly. If you feel moved by their stories, we invite you to leave a like as a silent tribute in their memory. Thank you. Now, let us begin.
1.
Chuck Girard, the beloved pioneer of Christian rock and voice behind Sometimes Alleluia, has tragically passed away at 81. His wife, Karen, confirmed the heartbreaking news, sharing that he died peacefully at home, surrounded by family. Chuck had been courageously battling stage 4 cancer, which had spread to his lungs. In her words, he left this earth at rest and in total peace. Girard's music career began in the 1960s with charting hits like Sacred and Little Honda. But his legacy soared in the 1970s when he led Love Song, the first Christian rock band to gain national attention. His 1974 solo debut featured Sometimes Alleluia, now a worship classic. He was inducted into the Gospel Music Hall of Fame in 2012, but behind the spotlight was a man who once struggled with addiction. Chuck found redemption through faith. He became a mentor, a worship leader, and a quiet guide for countless souls. Even as illness progressed, he kept creating, releasing Moonrise Serenade in 2024, a final offering of hope and grace. To those he inspired, his life remains a quiet anthem of comeback and conviction. And if you're one of them, someone touched by his music or his journey, don't hesitate to like this video and help us honor the legacy of Chuck Girard.
2.
Sheila Jordan, the beloved jazz vocalist and bebop pioneer, has sadly passed away at 96. Her daughter, Tracy Jordan, confirmed the news, sharing that Sheila died peacefully on August 11th in New York City. In her final moments, she was listening to a bebop tune by Marcus Belgrave. She fell asleep listening to the music she loved and helped define, Tracy wrote. Born in Detroit and raised in Pennsylvania's coal region, Sheila discovered jazz as a lonely child. She rose to prominence with her debut album Portrait of Sheila on Blue Note Records and was later honored as a jazz master by the NEA in 2012. Her final album, Portrait Now, was released on Valentine's Day, the same day as her last performance. But behind her music was a story of resilience. As a single mother working full-time while singing in clubs at night, Sheila endured heartbreak, hardship, and anonymity, yet never abandoned her art. For decades, she mentored young singers, teaching not only technique, but heart. She will be laid to rest at Woodlawn Cemetery's Jazz Corner. For those she inspired, Sheila's voice remains, not just in her recordings, but in the living, breathing spirit of jazz itself.
3.
Jeannie Seely, the beloved Miss Country Soul and Grammy-winning voice behind Don't Touch Me, has sadly passed away at 85. Her longtime publicist, Don Murray Grubbs, confirmed she died on Friday, August 1st, from complications due to an intestinal infection. In recent months, Seely had endured multiple back surgeries, emergency procedures, and pneumonia, yet kept her signature optimism, calling herself the unsinkable Seely. Born in Pennsylvania in 1940, Seely became a trailblazer for women in country music. She moved from radio in her hometown to the stages of Los Angeles and then to Nashville, where Don't Touch Me earned her a Grammy. She went on to chart multiple top 10 hits and appeared over 5,400 times on the Grand Ole Opry, where she had been a proud member since 1967. Despite health setbacks and personal loss, including the recent passing of her husband Gene Ward, Seely never left the stage. In 2024, she released her final song, a cover of Suffer Time, recorded at RCA Studio B. Her voice, spirit, and fearless grace leave behind a legacy cherished by fans and artists alike. For many, she was more than a singer. She was country music's beating heart.
Four.
Connie Francis, the iconic pop singer behind Who's Sorry Now and Where the Boys Are, has tragically passed away at 87. The news was confirmed by her dear friend and record label president, Ron Roberts, who shared the announcement on Facebook. Earlier this month, Connie had been hospitalized for severe pain, though the exact cause of death was not disclosed. Born in Newark in 1937, Connie rose to stardom in 1958 with Who's Sorry Now, a song she nearly didn't record. It became a million-seller and launched a dazzling career that spanned decades, with hits like Stupid Cupid, Everybody's Somebody's Fool, and the global anthem, Where the Boys Are. She sold over 200 million records and was honored with a Golden Globe for her international impact. But behind the fame was a woman who endured unspeakable tragedy, from sexual assault and the murder of her brother to losing her voice and battling mental illness. Yet she returned, time and again, with resilience and heart. Connie once said, "I'd like to be remembered not for the heights I've reached, but for the depths I've come back from." And to all who loved her, she will forever remain a voice of strength, survival, and grace.
Five.
Flaco Jimenez, the beloved accordion virtuoso who brought Tex-Mex conjunto music to the world stage, has sadly passed away at 86. His family confirmed the news in a heartfelt statement, sharing that Flaco died peacefully, surrounded by loved ones. No cause of death was disclosed, but the family thanked his many fans, asking for privacy during this time of sorrow. Born in San Antonio, Flaco picked up the accordion from his father and taught himself in secret. His passion and talent turned him into a legend. Over a career spanning 7 decades, he performed with the Rolling Stones, Bob Dylan, Dwight Yoakam, Ry Cooder, and more. His sound, joyful, rootsy, unmistakable, earned him a Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award and the hearts of fans across generations. Despite worldwide fame, Flaco never left his hometown or his heritage. He stayed true to his musical roots, mentoring young artists and preserving the spirit of conjunto. He lived not for stardom, but for the music he called alegre, joyful. Flaco's accordion may have fallen silent, but his legacy will forever echo across dance halls, radios, and hearts around the world.
Six.
Mick Jagger, not merely a singer, not merely the front man of one of the most iconic bands in rock history, but a symbol of rebellion, raw charisma, and restless genius. His voice did not just fill stadiums. It defined an era. He broke every expectation his family had set for him. Instead of a life built on order and discipline, he chose instinct, danger, and expression. With a touch of dry humor, people would later sum him up in one phrase: sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Simply put, that was the foundation of Mick Jagger's fame as he led the Rolling Stones into music history. Yet through it all, he remained on his own path. He stood firm, even while battling the weight of personal tragedy and public scrutiny. Mick Jagger's life is fascinating. Let us explore what shaped him, what tested him, and what ultimately transformed him into the man whose voice would define a generation. Michael Philip Jagger was born on July 26, 1943, in Dartford, Kent, England. His father, Basil Fanshawe Jagger, was a physical education teacher, a man of structure, rules, and responsibility. His mother, Ava Ensley Mary Scutts, was a hairdresser and a loyal supporter of the Conservative Party. She had artistic energy, but it stayed within the limits of traditional life. Together, they raised their son in a modest, respectable household, a far cry from the world he would one day make his own. But even in his early years, Mick was different. He was watchful, curious, and quietly magnetic. At family gatherings, long before television dominated the living room, it was expected that everyone would perform something: a song, a dance, a joke. Mick, still a boy, would step forward with confidence. He sang, he danced, he imitated the adults around him. "You had to do a turn," he would say years later. "I did a lot of them." It was more than entertainment. It was discovery. By the time he was 14, he had begun sneaking away to perform with local rhythm and blues bands. He kept it hidden from his parents. He had no formal training, no plan, just the feeling that he was exactly where he was meant to be. "It was fun," he said, "but I don't think I really knew what I was doing." That did not matter. Something inside him had already chosen this life. This was his first quiet rebellion, a boy turning toward what moved him, even when it went against everything he had been taught. His parents dreamed of seeing him in a suit, working a stable job, but the truth had already begun to unfold. Mick Jagger was born for something else, and soon the world would know it. Some moments in life feel like coincidence, others feel like destiny. For Mick Jagger and Keith Richards, their reunion at Dartford railway station was both. They had known each other as boys. They had drifted apart. But that quiet morning on the platform would change the course of music forever. Keith was carrying a few blues records. Mick noticed them. That was all it took. A shared love for American rhythm and blues sparked a conversation. From that conversation came a friendship. From that friendship came a fire. And from that fire came the Rolling Stones. At the time, Mick was still a student at the London School of Economics. His parents were proud. He was on a respectable path: finance, stability, future. But inside him, something was pulling away. Music was no longer a secret hobby. It was becoming something louder, heavier, impossible to ignore. He started playing gigs with Keith. At first, only 1 or 2 a month. Just enough to keep the dream alive, without letting go of the structure. But the dream grew. The music called louder. The band began to find its sound. More shows, more attention, more risk. The decision to leave university was not easy. His father was furious. His mother was heartbroken. But Mick could not lie to himself. He found no joy in economics. He found no purpose in stability. Music gave him something he could not explain. It was dangerous. It was uncertain, but it was real. Even after years of fame, Mick once admitted he had moments of doubt. He wondered what might have happened if he had taken another path. Journalism, perhaps. Something intellectual. Something grounded. But those thoughts were passing. Regret never stayed long. He had already made his choice, and the world had already answered. That choice came with growing pains. In the early days, the Rolling Stones relied on covers. They needed their own voice, their own words, their own truth. Manager Andrew Loog Oldham knew this. One night, he locked Mick and Keith in a kitchen and told them not to come out until they had written something. What came out was a song that would be recorded by Marianne Faithfull. Not yet their own hit, but a sign of what was coming. Soon after, they wrote Satisfaction. The song exploded. It was bold, raw, unforgettable. It was the moment the Rolling Stones became more than a band. They became a voice. From there, the hits kept coming. Each song louder, sharper, more certain. And through it all, Mick stood at the center. Not just as a singer, but as a force. A man who had stepped off the path laid out for him and walked straight into legend. For all his fame, for all the stories whispered and headlines printed, Mick Jagger was only officially married once. The ceremony took place in the sun-drenched village of Saint-Tropez in 1971. His bride, Bianca Perez Mora Macias, was radiant. Their union, filled with glamour and the watchful eyes of the world, seemed to mark a new chapter. But like much in Mick's life, it would not last. Their daughter, Jade, was born the same year. For a moment, the life of a husband and father softened the edge of his image. But the pressures of fame, distance, and desire proved too much. In 1978, the marriage ended. Bianca would later say there was no room for two stars in one marriage. Perhaps she was right. Many believed Mick had married again. For over 20 years, he shared a life with model and actress Jerry Hall. Together, they had 4 children and created a life that, from the outside, looked like a second chance. But when their relationship fell apart in 1999, the truth surfaced. Their 1990 ceremony in Bali had no legal standing. According to British law, they had never been husband and wife. This revelation stirred headlines, but not the man himself. Mick had long moved through life on his own terms, and in matters of love, he was no different. In total, Mick Jagger has fathered 8 children with 5 different women. His family spans generations and continents. He has 5 grandchildren. In 2014, he became a great-grandfather. 2 years later, at the age of 73, he welcomed his youngest son, Devereux Octavian Basil Jagger, with ballerina Melanie Hamrick. The name Basil was a quiet tribute to his own father, a nod to where he came from, even as he continued to build forward. It was a rare glimpse of sentiment in a man often guarded. Despite the unconventional nature of his family life, those close to him speak of his love and pride as a father. He remains involved, present, even tender. Though the public sees the legend, his children know the man. Not perfect, not always there, but always theirs. For Mick Jagger, love has never followed rules. His heart has wandered, his past is tangled, but within that complexity lies a truth. He has lived fully, loved freely, and left behind not just songs, but lives that carry his name and spirit into the future. Fame does not protect a man from pain. If anything, it exposes him to more of it. For Mick Jagger, the journey through music was never free from danger. At times, it was marked by scandal, betrayal, and loss. And through it all, he kept moving, even when the ground beneath him shook. In 1967, the Rolling Stones were at the center of a media storm. A police raid on Keith Richards' home led to Mick's arrest for possession of amphetamines. The image of Marianne Faithfull, wrapped only in a fur rug, made headlines around the world. The charges were serious. Mick faced the real possibility of prison, but he refused to let Marianne take the blame. The pills were hers. Still, he stood in court and accepted responsibility. It was loyalty. It was character. And in the end, it was the public, not the courts, that saved him. A powerful editorial in the Times of London questioned the severity of the charges. The public rallied behind him, and the sentence was overturned. But the lesson lingered. Fame came with a target. 2 years later, the Altamont Free Concert became one of the darkest chapters in rock history. What was meant to be a celebration ended in chaos. A young man named Meredith Hunter was stabbed to death during the Stones' set, killed by a member of the Hells Angels. Mick had barely escaped violence himself earlier that day. The shock was profound. The dream of peace and music collapsed in blood and confusion. Mick was blamed for hiring the Angels. He carried that weight for years. The danger did not end there. Decades later, a former FBI agent revealed a chilling detail. After the Altamont fallout, a group of Hells Angels had planned to assassinate Mick. They plotted to reach his Long Island home by boat, but fate intervened. A storm forced them back. No arrests were made, but the threat had been real. Inside the band, tensions grew. The death of Brian Jones in 1969 was another blow. Jones, once a founding member, had spiraled into addiction and instability. Mick made the decision to remove him from the group. Less than a month later, Brian was found dead in his pool. The world mourned. Mick recited poetry at Hyde Park in his memory. Butterflies were released into the sky. But guilt remained. In later years, Mick admitted he had been childish, that their friendship had become a battlefield. Still, some wounds never truly close. In 2019, at the age of 75, Mick faced a crisis of the body. A heart valve replacement forced him to step back from the stage. For a man who had moved constantly for more than 50 years, stillness felt foreign. But recovery came, and with it, the fire returned. Pain has followed Mick Jagger. It has tested him, threatened him, surrounded him, but it has never defeated him. He carries it like he carries his fame, quietly, reluctantly, but with resolve. At 81 years old, Mick Jagger still stands as the soul of the Rolling Stones. His steps may be slower, but his voice still carries. His presence still commands the stage, and his spirit, even now, refuses to fade. In 2023, the band released Hackney Diamonds, their first album of original material in nearly 2 decades. The songs were sharp, alive, filled with energy that felt both urgent and timeless. In 2025, the album won the Grammy for Best Rock Album, their first Grammy win in 7 years. For a band that began over 60 years ago, the recognition was not just a celebration, it was a confirmation. The fire still burns. Though the Stones had planned a European tour in 2025, it was quietly canceled due to scheduling conflicts. But hope remains. Talks of a 2026 tour are already underway. In the meantime, the band is back in the studio working on new material. 13 new tracks are said to be in progress, continuing a legacy that refuses to rest. This November, they will honor a milestone: 50 years since Ronnie Wood joined the band. To mark the moment, the Stones will release a remastered edition of their 1976 album, Black and Blue, complete with 2 unreleased tracks. It is more than nostalgia. It is a tribute to time, to brotherhood, and to the music that carried them through it all. Mick Jagger himself continues to surprise. A guest appearance on an upcoming album by Nigerian artist Burna Boy shows once again that his voice knows no borders. He remains curious, engaged, unafraid to evolve. And that perhaps is the most powerful part of his legacy. Mick Jagger never stopped, never stood still, never settled. He walked away from expectations and built something that still moves people, still fills stadiums, still matters. His life is not just a story of rebellion, it is a story of endurance, of a man who shaped the sound of a century and never let go of what made him feel alive. If Mick Jagger's journey has ever touched your life, we invite you to share your memories in the comments below. Tell us what his music means to you. And if you want to continue honoring legends like him, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and help us keep their stories alive. Thank you for being with us.